What's up, everybody? I have to put some kind of background music to the intro of this show, right? What's happening? It's Music Therapy Laz here on this Cyber Black Friday, Monday, Friday. I don't know what you want to call it anymore. It's just a lot of consumerism, right? And here we are on the Music is Therapy show. I'm using the little boxes today because I'm hoping this is going to be a funny show as well as a serious show, because I've got a serious problem. I think some of us out there in the audience, I'm sure, would agree they also have a serious problem. What are we talking about? We're talking about gas, not the kind that you get from eating food that causes those kinds of things, but more like the gear acquisition syndrome form of gas. And I did invite a couple friends on last minute, of course. We were sleeping in today. I mean, all weekend we've been sleeping in because we've been staying up late till like past midnight, putting together photo albums for our trip to Peru to visit my sweetie's mom and family, of course, but mostly it's to see her, but we like the rest of them too. But, you know, we're definitely going to be visiting the mom, and she wanted to put like some hard bound photo things, but she's not like one of those photo people that makes those album things. That's too much time for her. So we decided to use one of those, I forget the name of the website, but you just send them, you create the photo things online, and then they print out a book and you get a book, right? So we're getting one that's going to be about yay big, and pretty good size. I think it's the large size one. And then now we're transferring photos from all of our trips from last year and this year. So when we went to Europe, when we went to Egypt, Greece, Egypt, and Jordan, and all those cool places, Petra and Jerash and the Wadi Rum Desert, the desert of Lawrence, Arabia, and where Moses apparently hit the stone and water came out, things like that. They called it Moses. I think there's the spring, Lawrence of Arabia's spring, all kinds of stuff out there. Really amazing stuff. And yeah, so we've been up late, so we've been sleeping in a little bit, and so I barely got the show off the ground this morning in time, a little late. But usually we do start a little late, don't we? So Johnny, you have a link if you want to jump in. You're probably out at the cafe, right, having coffees. I sent a link to Ron as well. I don't know if he's going to be available. A lot of people are spending time with family this week and weekend, right? That was most of it for me, and a lot of time with my sweetie at home and just doing all this kind of stuff, family stuff, right? But gear acquisition syndrome, I mean, I got to say, it's definitely bitten into me. You guys all know that, right? Let's say hi to the people in the chat. In the meantime, we've got Ryan Hall. What's up, y'all? Ryan Hall. My music in law. That's right. Says hi to everybody that's out here. My knees hurt. I know you're feeling. And then we... I won't go into that. And then same here, Dan says, hope the holiday season is being kind to you and yours, says Greasy Monkey. To our friend Dan somewhere up there. Dan Gorman, there he is. Yeah, he's saying hello to Johnny. Michael B says something like, I know, start loving the gear you have. Hey, y'all. Yeah, it's not that simple, I don't think, right? I wish it was just that simple. Just love what you got and just work with what you got only, because that's part of the creative nature of an artist of any kind, You don't want to necessarily be trapped into your one sound. And it was really, an inspirational thing to see a band like the Beatles break out of their like style of music that they started out with and break into something totally new. Madonna famously, reinvented herself how many times? Who else? I mean, Van Halen changed, the band that we all grew up to love, that I, in my teenage years, loved. But I also love bands like Aerosmith and Zeppelin. And, I didn't really look at any one band as being the band or my band that I'm only going to follow. Never was that kind of guy. Johnny's in here saying hello to everyone. Of course, Lucas, what's up? Yeah, I don't have a problem. You have a problem now. Now hand me my credit card. Exactly. Hand me your credit card. It's more like it because mine's full. That's what my wife's ready to do to me. Wrong button, but yeah, it's kind of, serendipitous, as they would say, right? We got Eddie Fay also here saying, yeah, consumerism junkies. Another thing I'm addicted to, coffee. But you know, the thing is that when it comes to gear and the way that technology has driven a lot of our gear, right? That has a lot to do with that the syndrome in a sense, and also the internet and social media and the pressures of you guys, not just you guys, but like other YouTubers out there. Like my I'm wearing his T-shirt right now. You know what that means, right? That's what she said. That's right. HP42, which was just the worst name ever. I mean, Henning, come on, dude. Where is it? Here it is. Here it is. Yeah, Henning, you make fun of Ibanez with their numbers on their guitars. What the heck is it with your YouTube channel name? HP42. I mean, who understands that? No one. I can't even write it. I still can't write it. I still have. I'm not even going to try. Anyway, we've got Searching for Tone also here. Hey, Laz, and everyone listening while hanging Christmas lights outside. There you go, man. Don't fall down. All right, we'll call 911 if we hear a big noise. And we got Matthew Stewart in the chat. How's it going, dude? BC Rich 5881, winner of the last the Gear and Demo show. He won. It's already packaged in a box. I think it's already in the car. There you go. So that box is ready to go out. I tried to make it to the post office yesterday, and I got there at 2:22, and I thought, oh, they'll be open till 3 on a Saturday, right? No. Opened at 2. So that was that. So it's going out Monday morning. Yeah, you found mortgage payments to be a good way to temper gear purchases. And a really angry spouse. Hey, we've had some subscribers here, or I think he goes by GSN, right? Or is it Scott Nickerson, Gunslinger Nickerson, right? He was hiding them in the walls. He's got like you know, like those creepy movies where the psycho killer like hides the bodies or the people and stuff. Well, he's got guitars hidden in the walls of his house. That's probably why we don't see him around anymore. I think his wife probably stuck him in the wall now. Said, you want to be with your gear, I'm gonna stick you in the wall. So Greasy Monkey was indeed first. Let's get back to the bottom of the chat here. Exactly. Yeah, everyone's saying hi to each other. Hobo Roadie's here, another giver of gas, but not really. I mean, what's beautiful about Hobo Roadie is he doesn't give you gas, he gives you gear. So thank you. I appreciate those pedals right there, you know, all this cool stuff. The amp right here, which I still don't believe I own. No, it's yours. I'm just kind of watching over it for you. I'm gonna bring it out to you up there and where you live. Anyway. Got to take another sip. Got to keep those esophageal whatever things moist. Thrash metal and fun riffs, dude. Nice to see you in here, dude. Yeah, you dig that Jackson V? Isn't that a nice specimen? Should I hold it up for you guys? So let's give more gas. Let's do this. All right. As you know, or some of you may know, this specimen was gassed at me by our friend Gear Acquisition Syndromed me, my friend Ron. Look at that. Look at that thing. It just gives you the good chills, you know what I mean? And then he did send me some stainless steel parts for the bridge, so we upgraded it, took the tone sapping shim out of there. And this is a 1998 apparently, but someone else says it's a 2000 something. But according to the serial number, Ron says it's a 98. It's got the jack in the right spot right there. I like it right there. And he sent me the springs as well, those FU tone, no noise springs. I mean, I think the fret ends could use a little bit of rounding, so I'm going to go at it with my fret end dressing tool at some point, you know. But outside of that, he did help me properly set this thing up. There is a video on my channel about that. The neck is really nice, almost straight. I mean, it's almost straight. It's perfectly set up now. Thank you to Ron. And if you guys want to watch a step-by-step how to set up a Floyd properly, I haven't adjusted the pickup heights because I think they're pretty perfect. Look at that. All right? And look at that action. Look at the action there. It's perfect. I'd say, you know, it's about, when I push down on the first fret here, it's at maybe 1.5 millimeters. at the 12th fret, which is just about right for me. I don't like it too low, but that's pretty good. EMGs, of course, it's an active pickup guitar with just the one knob, because what else do you need? And then the whammy bar, of course. You know, and this is a 1000 bridge, so it's in good shape now. And yeah, what can you say, man? Quarterson, maple neck, rosewood board. It's badass. All right, so all fall of the entire season of autumn. The entire season of autumn, or fall, whatever you want to call it, I was planning not to buy a guitar because I spent a lot of money on that Kiesel over there, and then I bought some other gear like this, you know, that I still haven't hooked up, you know. And this is why I wanted to talk about this today, because, you know, it's great to have gear, but if it's just sitting around, like Johnny was in here a couple weeks ago, and he's like, look at all this crap, because, you know, it's like all this crap around. Well, yeah, if it's just laying around not being used, it might as well be crap, because it's not doing anything. You're not doing anything with it. And so why I thought this would be a great topic for today, because it is this, you know, the consumerism thing, you know, the buying weekend, right? So everybody's here wanting to talk about this, right? Don't say fall. I'm on my roof. I'm so sorry about that, dude. Hey, Roadies Jam Cave, what's up? What's up, Roadies? And then we got yeah, I own something. Okay. What do you own? I missed a above comment probably. But yeah, I love my Flying V. I love my Flying V too. Or my Randy Rhoads. Stabby guitars make good sounds. Yeah, they do. And they're fun to play and they look cool, right? That's the thing. Am I having a date with the the post office lady? Yes, I am. Yes, Santa Claus is coming to you, Ryan. That's right. Ryan and I have made a deal. Well, I know he's going to send me something. I don't know what he's going to send me, but I think he's going to send me a bunch of knives. If you have a samurai sword, I'll take a samurai sword. I've always wanted one of those. Always wanted, you know, that. I've got that thing right there. You can't see it, but I need to change the battery. The dilithium crystals or whatever they call it. I think that's Star Trek. This thing, the dark saber. I might do the modification on this too, where I've seen people do the modification where they'll put a different piece of strip of something on here that's not shiny like that. See how that's shiny? And then make it wider so that there's just more just at the edge of the saber as it's being lit. But yeah, there's several packages going out on Monday, including this to my friend Ron, who doesn't get to keep it, Ron. You get to play with it, because I replaced it with this. So let me show you guys. I haven't even unboxed this. Let's do an unboxing. What do you say? That's a good way to start a gear acquisition syndrome show, right? Let's see. How does it open? Let's see. So it's counterintuitive, I think, a little. Oh, okay, here we go. It's right here, right? There we go. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. Comes with a receipt. Oh, I've already opened it then. I put the receipt back in there. So it comes with a G.A.S Music, because I bought it at G.A.S Music in Dublin, California, right nearby me. One of Johnny's friends teaches there, Margaret Scranton, something like that. Yeah, there you go, G.A.S Music, and it's a MXR M104 Distortion Plus, which is the type of distortion pedal that Randy Rhoads used back in the day. And supposedly the Randy Rhoads one's kind of like a little bit tweaked one, and I do hear a difference between the tweaked Randy Rhoads one. It comes with the little rubber knobs for, you know, if you want to use foot controlling on those knobs. And I wanted to just dial in the tone that the Randy Rhoads one does on that one before I package this up and send it off. But this is an amazing pedal. I got this at the regular price. All right, the regular price of $169 or something like that. That's so cool. Special edition. So Ron, you get to borrow it until you get your not so special edition version of it. All right. C'est la vie. Such is life, right? C'est la vie. So who else is here that I haven't said hi to yet? It has an LED that works. It's not crap. That's funny, BC Rich. That's funny. Let's see what else. Oh, Time Surfing Aliens here. What's up, dude? Good afternoon, he says. And then who else? Yeah, you missed my large comment just a little above. Okay, gotcha. Was that in reference to that's what she said? Anyway, yeah, we're gonna go crazy with the box today. So Hoborodi has a wooden katana around here somewhere. Don't send it, please. Okay, we might work out something out of samurai. There you go. Yeah. In some of those knives that you sent to me before are really handy. I think I can give some of those out as Christmas gifts. So when you have a chance, send them, and then I'm sending this thing out on Monday for you with your package of other goodies that you were promised months and months and months ago, including I think a microphone. I have to find all these things. They're like that's what happens when you have a lot of crap. Another problem with the gear acquisition syndrome, but in serious, to be serious about this, it can be a problem, right? I mean, bottom line is in 2017, I started a YouTube channel because I wanted to put music up on the internet and be more musically active myself in my life and maybe even teach some people music from my way of playing music, how I learned to play by ear. I've taught some people how to play music, whether it's bass, guitar, drums, or whatever. I really emphasize using your ear and getting a feel for the music and letting it come through you, kind of. And it's not really like the music is coming through you, okay, but that's the best way I could describe it, is where you're trying to get your brain out of the way sometimes. Now, don't get me wrong, I've had serious classes. I mean, when I say I was self-taught on the piano, for the most part, yeah, I've had like half a dozen lessons throughout my life, a few on accordion, which are keyboard related and you have to learn the notes, but it was so basic and simple, but that still counts. You learn what the C scale is, and you learn how to play My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean so your brother John can sing it when you're in second grade and he's in first grade at the school talent show. The Dancing Queen girl won. Who danced to that song. Anyway, I digress. But the bottom line is that it can get in your way because, and it's not just the gear acquisition syndrome. I think it's connected to this internet and online experience or social media experience, and I'd like to tie it into kind of some of the other problems we're having in not just in America but in the world when it comes to how we're spending our time, how we're allowing social media and how the algorithms kind of focus everything on what it thinks your interests are. On my page on my social media, it was funny, Phil McKnight was talking about this the other day on his show, which I rolled over a little bit. Sorry, Phil. I didn't mean to do it on purpose, but I kind of had to do it at that time. I should have just started it at 5 instead of at 4. I wasn't thinking about it deeply enough, but I missed the whole show really on Phil's show because I forgot it was Friday, but I knew it was Friday, but I forgot his show's on Friday. So does that make sense? No, but I know I digress. But the thing is that he was talking about how the social media and politics and all that, he stays away from. He doesn't even type anything, and he hates it when somebody else types it into the chat or references him in another video. His name pops up, and then he'll start getting stuff sent to him by recommendations or whatever, sent to him on his notifications feed or whatever you want to call it on your social media, whether it's YouTube or whatever. And then suddenly it's like, if you just look up one thing about politics, now suddenly you're getting 1,000 politics stuff sent at you. And it's the same thing with gear. That's how we get sucked into the gear acquisition syndrome, right? You look up one certain pedal and then suddenly everything's coming up on pedals and everything's coming up about gear. And it's always at you. It's in front of you. My wife suffers from it in a different way. She loves fashion. She loves clothes, and she gets into that stuff. And she's constantly getting stuff. And it's not the same as with gear. At least I can trade gear, right? You can't trade shoes, not easily anyway. So Laz, can solo host like a ninja, right, guys? Okay, thank you. Great topic. Thank you. Well, that's something I've also been thinking about doing more of, because even though I like having guests on, I don't want it to seem like or be like a crutch, like I can't do a show on my own. And secondly, it can take you off the topic. When Johnny comes on, sometimes he'll take me off the topic with something. When whoever, it could be Ron or anyone else, it could sometimes be me, because they're on, bring up a different subject or whatever. So this kind of thing kind of helps me keep it more on a focused. Maybe this show I should keep it like this. What do you think? I invited Janice, but she's busy. And it's tough sometimes dealing with the needs of the co-host, because sometimes the co-host wants or needs something too, and that can distract. And so there's a good and bad side of it. I think it's good to have sometimes guests on, right? But you picture me more like a what? Okay. This is funny. I picture Laz more like the Highlander. There can be only one, the katana, the Queen soundtrack, and decapitations. Dude, I do have swords. You've been around long enough. You've seen them, right? I do have swords. I have a Civil War era kind of saber, and a couple swords from the Illuminati. to be to be honest, and they actually are from from the Masons. Yeah, yeah, I can easily dismiss garbage, pushed on me by the internet. But could you resist this? If these still were available for 160 something bucks, would you buy one, dude? Because anyone who's a Randy Rhoads fan of any kind, and who's not, that's a guitarist. Come on, this thing is beautiful. Look at that. I'm giving you gas right now. Look at that thing, and it does sound like Rhodes. It definitely gives you that tone. You add a chorus to it, and it's amazing. Yeah, style of Flash Gordon. There you go. I have never heard of it. Okay, I've never heard of it. It must be fairly small. Not that Scranton is a metropolis. To Eddie Fay. Let's see what Eddie Fay had to say. I'm thinking the reason you didn't know that is because Scranton, Kentucky, or Kansas City, right? Isn't that what K.S. is? Kansas City is infinitely smaller when driving through it. If you blink, you miss it. Yeah, I've driven through towns like that, right? So sorry, reference you in today's video. That's all right, dude. Reference me away. I don't care. I'm not afraid of what comes into my feed. I can ignore stuff. So, Mama's got a squeeze box. Daddy never sleeps at night. The Who, right? Exactly. Yeah. All right. I'm just looking at some of the stuff. Yeah. Pedal from Brent 2 and 13 Days of Christmas package 2. Love you. So 12 days of Christmas, but we can add one more. Love you, brother, and you really want a sword because shipping or anything like that is in California. I have no idea, dude. Look it up. We'll talk. We'll talk to each other, right? Maybe wait till that comes and then send it back in that thing. So you're gonna be getting it in the box like that. So when that thing comes to you, that thing up there, that one right there in the corner. Why can't this adjust easily? Okay, now I'm gonna sink in. I'm making everyone sick now. All right, there we go. Yeah, that Telecaster up in the corner there, that's going to Ryan. Oh my God, come on. There should be an arm for that, right? So you can just go whoop whoop. Anyway, where's my pink pointer? All right, so yeah, let's get to the bottom of the chats here. We got GSN's here. GSN, you came out of the wall. So great to have you. I don't know if you were in at the beginning of the show, but we're talking about gear acquisition syndrome and the kind of trouble it can get us into. Yeah, sorry, Blackjack Guitar. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Bo. You rock, dude. Guitar Man 45. Yeah, my wife is doing great. Would he be real? Says I play keys and have swords too, Laz. Is that a thing? It is. I say it is. Yeah. No weapons. I have a DD214. I don't know what that is. You can expound on that if you'd like or not. We don't want the FBI showing up at your door. That's all I can say. All right. So my knees hurt. Who's jonesing for something? That's what I want to ask. So nope, I didn't buy anything. That said, I did buy the Hello Kitty fuzz. It has a freaking cat on it. Yeah. Right. That's right. The Stonecutter in Simpsons. That's funny, BC Rich. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you have both the McCloud and the Samurai from the movie. Oh, dude. Okay. If you have the Highlander samurai sword, dude. Dang. Okay, we got to make a trade. That's the one right there. That's what I want. Now I'm jonesing over swords. So weird, right? Anyway, so it's a military service. Okay, record of military service. All right, so you are a weapon, is what you're trying to tell us, right? Watch out for that guy, or either have him behind you and he'll have your back, right? That's the guy you want having your back right there. Yeah, all veterans have a DD 214. Right on. My brother John does then too, right? He actually followed in my footsteps. I don't know if you know this. I actually joined the Air National Guard in Colorado, but I got as far as the written testing, and I think they gave me a meal, and then they did my physical test after the written testing, which I did well on, apparently, because later on Frank told me, my mom's friend, he was trying to get into her pants, I think, to be honest, and was telling her that if I joined up, he'll make me his aide, and he was a colonel, the Air National Guard in Colorado. And I don't know if that ever would have happened. I might have ended up on the front lines of the Air National Guard, wherever that is, probably polishing gears for the helicopters, because I don't have a good left eye. My left eye, you can see I have strabismus, but mine goes the opposite way. As like Pete Thorne's goes out, mine goes in. And I've actually had surgical correction on this, and it didn't really take very well. It probably did a little something, but not much. The bottom line is I was oxygenated when I was a baby, when I was born. The moment I was born, I found out years later. I mean, just only a couple of years ago, I finally squeezed it out of my mom. I'm like, Mom, just tell me, was I oxygenated ever outside of the double hernia operation I had when I was 6 months old? Did they oxygenate me at some point? And she's like, oh yeah, you didn't cry right away. I'm like, that was it. Dr. Dean Adele, who's an eye surgeon before he went into the field of plumbing with his brother, and then met someone at a cocktail party, says, hey, you're really good at explaining all this medical stuff. Maybe you'd like to be on our show and talk about it. And then next thing you know, he's got a syndicated show nationwide, and over here in the Bay Area talking about it on Channel 2 or Channel 4 or whatever it was, maybe 7, I don't know. But he was an eye doctor who saw that a lot of people that were born in the 50s and 60s that were oxygenated at birth had strabismus because they were burning the muscle tissue in the eyes. Oh, I'm gonna have to put headphones on now because somebody just showed up. All right, let's do it. Hold on a second, Johnny. Johnny's in the green room, but I've got two headphones here, one for my keyboard and one for the laptop, and it's tangled. If Johnny was already in, he'd be hitting that laugh track right now, right, Johnny? Not that one. This one. All right, here we go. Oh my God. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, I like your studio. You've really improved it.
Yeah, I cleaned it up a little bit.
You got rid of some of the crap. Oh my God.
Hello, happy Sunday.
You don't have gas. I noticed that out of all the people I know that I'm like, well, okay. If you had money to burn, would you be buying a bunch of gear or no? I don't think you do. You buy gear you need.
I only get stuff if I need it.
Yeah, if you need it, right?
I mean, you see the guitar that I've played for years. It's just a
right,
crapped up thing that I threw together.
Yeah, yeah. But you have a lot of other guitars that are just sitting around.
I mean, they're all different.
Yeah, that's what I say. They're all different.
Well, yeah. I mean, you do have some that are different,
right? Hey, Clayton, what's up? Clayton James Hicks.
Is that a green screen? Nope, no green.
It's Sunday. Yeah, go over there and play the piano for us. Oh my God! Of course, that's a green screen. It's been around for a long time. It's one of those piped in ones. I'll show you. How do I do that?
Oh, you have that one too?
Oh, I know. Oh yeah, of course. We all have the studio. It's in one of the, what's it called? The virtual virtual background. There we go. Hey Johnny, what are you doing in my studio? Anyway,
you should go back there and play that piano.
I should. I could. Yeah. Let's see. There's another one I have here too. Check this one out. This is one that some other people are using a lot lately too.
Oh, I missed that one, man. Mine. That doesn't look like that anymore.
No, it does not, does it? Yeah.
Maybe I'll on a future show, I'll take you guys back over there and you guys can see it.
East Bay Ray, right? He takes care of all his gas issues. Well, hey, okay, we got Wade Connell with a question. Okay, Laz, is that toque made of alpaca? It looks hot. Yes, it is made of alpaca. Yeah, it is a what we call in Peru. They call it a chullo. Chullo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I like wearing this during winter. It's my winter headgear, I guess. Yeah. So tell us, Johnny, in your time as a professional musician, because for most of your life that's what you've been, right? And as a professional musician, I think it's different. What? That's up for debate. What?
Huh?
What? Huh? Oh my God. All right. As a professional musician, Johnny.
How much apple juice have you had already?
None. I've had coffee, but but there must be some like latency going on because of our weird, we're in different dimensions here. But as a professional musician, you probably have had to, use the gear you can afford and then sometimes given to, or you have sponsors that will sponsor you. So sometimes you can choose your sponsor. Sometimes you're like, hey, I'm glad to have a sponsor sending me guitars or strings or whatever. But for the most part, you're using gear that you need to make the sound you want to create. And if you're on any kind of a gas or gear search, it's more acquisition of gear as a tool to make the sound you want to create, right?
I mean, something that I learned when I was working with Desmond Child in his studio was when I walked into that situation, I had guitars, I had my 5150 amp and stuff, but I didn't take my amp with me because it was in Miami, So I ended up using an amp. I think actually I had a sponsor with Mesa Boogie at the time, so I was using a Mesa Boogie amp. I had my Music Man guitar. I had bought some pawn shop guitars. But one thing I learned working in the studio was you use what you have, really, because it's about you. It's not about the gear. And I know this is a gear show, but this is also a therapy show.
This is the music is therapy show, so it's more therapy.
It's perfect then. It's more about you and what you can do with the instrument. It's not about what the instrument can do for you, really. Because if you can't play, give a $1 million guitar to somebody who can't play, it'll sound like crap. Give somebody that can play a $100 guitar, they can make it sound good.
Yeah.
So I hate to say it, you guys, it's really not about the gear. I mean, I know people like to collect the stuff, and that's cool. It's always fun to get, new things. But something I learned when I was working with Desmond is when you walk into a studio, a lot of times studios have gear. So you have more stuff to choose from. Eddie Fay, there you go, man. Dude, I've been trying to tell these guys that for years. Nobody listens to me.
Nobody listens to Johnny.
I
think everyone listens a little bit.
Guys, all you guys talk about is, good gear. We got to get gear. But I don't see anybody using it though.
Yeah.
It just all sits
on
your wall.
Some people do, though. Some people do. So let me interject with this. So one of the things that inspired me to talk about this today was listening in on Sean Pierce Johnson's show yesterday, because he had this big new thing that he was going to break out, and everyone's thinking, oh, it's probably some gear, right? No, he actually wants to do a class that's kind of like a boot camp, he's calling it, kind of like a clinic that you can take part in, that that he will in like, I guess, a month's time. There's so many weeks of it or something like that, or so many months time starting in January, to really get guitarists or people who want to play guitar like me or whoever, to get better at their instrument and learning how to practice right and play right.
Hey, Ryan, let me say
that inspired me. to do this show to talk about the gear can inspire, but am I really playing more with the gear? No.
No, I mean, it's
Mhm.
sitting there.
It's just sitting here.
If you're going to have a studio, it's great to have, different options of stuff to, for the musicians to come in and to use it to record. That's
Right.
something I was
Right.
going to say earlier, was when I walked into a real studio, there's stuff there, and you use what you have, you use what they have to create the it's like
Yeah.
what they say, it's
Yeah.
all about the music.
Eddie's saying a lot of good things here. Like, it's fun to emulate them. And just like I'm sure Edward Van Halen emulated or played a lot of Clapton stuff and some of his other favorite bands, like Alex to some degree probably, you know, created a little bit of his style or sound or feel after Bonham because he was a big fan of Zeppelin. And they're another band that they really admired. But we're talking about, like, what everyone does is you build on what other people you model other people, and then but you build on that because everyone wants to break out and do their own thing. You don't want to be a copycat of somebody. At least
Well,
some people don't.
you
Some
get
people are.
why is that funny? You get
Well, there are some people
inspired.
we know that just copycat other people. That's what they do for a living. But yeah,
Somebody's texting me cat photos.
it's
Thank you.
probably
Thank
might
you.
be BC Rich.
The thing is, being a musician, I mean, there's different levels.
Yeah.
There's people that buy guitars, they buy gear, they have them in their basement, they like to look at it. Are they making, records and stuff? I don't know. Maybe. But
And is that important though? I'd ask you that question though.
You always
but go on.
notice it's the guy busking on the street that has a $10 guitar, and that's all he has, and he's out there actually working with it.
Maybe
But
he has
you
better
got the
gear at
guys sitting
home
in their
though.
basements with all the guitars behind them, and they don't play them.
Maybe the guy busking on the street corner is taking the $10 guitar because he's been ripped off so many times already. He's not going to take the Taylor out there. He's going to take the junky guitar out there, right? And because it could get stolen, and he might get a little more money if he looks like a poor musician than if he's just like some superstar out there. Like if Steve Vai's out there playing, how many people are going to be throwing money at him? Probably a lot.
Well, I don't think Steve Vai is going to be out there busking.
Yeah. But that's the point. Like if you've seen have you seen any of those like videos where people will actually go?
Yeah,
they're really a professional musician. Yeah.
Green Day played in the.
They'll pretend to be like a homeless guy.
And ZZ Top played. Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah. Justin Johnson can make a shovel whale.
But what I'm saying though, use what you have if you're about creating music. But there's all different levels. There's all different levels of musicians. Not everybody.
Absolutely, you can be a
not
hobbyist.
Everybody creates. Yeah. People get inspired by different things. You have your heroes when you're first starting. You have your heroes when you're, when you're out there making the music, whatever. The ones that are successful, the musicians that are successful, are the ones that sound like themselves, and the ones that use what they have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the side of it, like what you're talking about, a studio and like building. Let me get back to my original studio background here.
That's my studio.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it was your living room, which sometimes is a person's studio. There you go. But the point being, yeah. But the point being is that I had a studio in the 90s, and I had a goal and a vision that I put a lot of time and energy and money into. And this has kind of been my midlife crisis of sorts, of wanting to be there again, be back in that place again, but even at a much higher level. But the difference is now I've got the gear, and I don't really have a lot of the time to put into the studio time, but I'm doing it online instead. So I'm putting a lot of time into the online social media thing.
People that work in studios, that's all they do.
Right. They're not online doing stuff like I am.
Recording. If you go into a studio to record, you're in there. That's why you don't write in the studio, because you're paying by the hour to be in there.
That's right. It can be
you have
very
to pay.
expensive.
You walk in the door. they're charging you to walk in the door to set up. You're being charged.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's
Tear
expensive
down.
to even set up. Let's say you paid the amount of money I put into this studio. If I really wanted to make music and I was like a talented artist that I wanted to get my music out, the amount of money I've put into here, I could have been just spending time writing music with a simple keyboard and a simple guitar and a amp sims or whatever, or a simple good, one by 12 speaker combo like a Princeton with a few pedals. And for $1,000, I'd probably be able to write a ton of music and then use the money that I put into the studio to actually go into a studio and actually really make a high level recording of the music and then let it happen. See what
Well,
goes on.
see,
And we'll see what happens. Right?
I
That
wouldn't
would
do
be another,
that.
but nobody does that today. Yeah.
Well,
Why?
right. I mean, yeah, you don't have to do that today.
Mhm.
You can make a record in your living room, but that's the thing though too, is some people make the mistake of thinking, oh, if I get the next piece of gear, that'll solve my problem. I'll be able to write that hit song. That's not how it works. The
Yeah.
music has to come from in you on whatever piece of crap you have.
That's what I
Make
was
the music
saying.
on that,
Yeah.
and then record your music, make
Right.
the music, and you build as you go along. The guys that have the rock stars that have the 100 guitars, see, they start with nothing and they're given that stuff over time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember asking Michael Anthony one time. I was in one of his hangouts. This was years and years ago. And I asked him, how many guitars do you have? And this is on my channel. You can watch it.
Yeah.
He said he had something like 100, 150 basses or something. But he one thing he said was, when you start, you have nothing. And then the more successful you get, the more people give you stuff. That's what he told me. And that's the truth.
Honk if that's true.
Honk twice.
So here's how this is but here's a perfect example of gear acquisition syndrome in action here in Hobo Roadie, right? Hobo Roadie, man, this guy's got a lot of gear. Now he's talking about, he's always wanting to get that next sound or that next thing that's in his head that he has to accomplish. It's like his goal is to create that tone and that sound, and he knows what will make it. And so he goes after the gear. So 2 stereo Leslie emulators is not too much. This summer I'm going to try for 4, right? That might be too much, but there's only one way to actually know. And so he's on a quest to know the tone that he has in his head. He wants to know it. He wants to feel it. He wants to have that. That's what he's after as a musician, as a roadie, as a, he knows his gear. This guy really knows his stuff. And that, like BC Rich is answering back. Yeah. And then that's proof of concept for getting 2 more. And that's how the world advances. Yeah. That's how gear acquisition syndrome and consumerism advances as well. But yeah, both things are true.
But
yeah.
Let me ask you this, Laz.
Yeah, ask me.
I've been to your house.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you talk about gear, having an addiction to, I have to get more gear, is that having to fill your room with more stuff that you can sit there and look at, or stuff that you're actually going to create music with?
It's not either. It's not either. So it is a little bit of the second. So in other words, I'm not looking to fill so much stuff into my room that I can't move.
And it's not about being a rock star.
It's not not at all. I don't even want to be a rock star. That's the thing, is I never really wanted to be up front on stage kind of person, or hey, look at me kind of person. I'm not that person at all. That's one of the things that kind of turned me off to the whole music industry in the 80s, because in the mid 80s, when I was at that age where that was the right time to go after it, I just didn't want to be part of that world. It just was so apart from what I felt like was me and what I want to be or do. And I said, that's not what I want to do. And then ultimately what I decided that I did want to do, and why I did that studio build with that friend of mine, and even another friend of mine rented an office space where at night we can go in there and create music and stuff. But a lot of times I was in there by myself, which I could have been doing at home and not spending money on. But then he wasn't coming enough. He got married and was more, becoming a family guy.
Too much info, Laz. Too much info.
But the point being is that at that time, okay, in my late teens, early 20s, and then going into my mid 20s, I always had a desire to create music. What?
And then in your 40s.
Well, yeah. Well, no, in my 30s and 40s, I gave it all up and I had a family life. So
Mhm.
that changed completely. That's why, like I tell you guys, I stepped away from it for many, many years and I just didn't even care about it. And then really what dragged me back in was watching a video of Hennings and then Phil McKnight and then you and other people. And then I
Those
got,
guys don't have hair.
neither do I. Neither do you. That's what happens with gear acquisition syndrome. It's a part of the syndrome is you lose all your hair. But the point I'm making
It
is
should
that
be
I've
hair
always had a
acquisition
desire.
syndrome.
Hair missing syndrome. Hair missing syndrome. But anyway, the point is that I've always had a desire to create music. I've always been creating music. Whenever I am playing, I'm creating. A lot of times I'm coming up with another song idea, and then I'll save it on my phone, and then I'll sometimes complete the song at least on that instrument, beginning to end. So I have the
When?
concept. I do.
We've never
I do all
heard
the
your
time.
songs.
Yeah, you have. I even have some
That one
posted
guy
on
kept
the
saying,
internet.
"Make me a song, Laz," and it's
I
been
can make
like
you a
5
song. You
years.
want me to make you a song, Johnny? All
That
right,
one
here we go.
guy. Who was that guy? He kept saying, "Laz, you owe me a song. It's been 5 years."
Oh no, that's Metalhead Hippie Jeff.
But I'm building the studio to
I've
make
been
those
I've been
songs.
owing them doing me playing the. What way? I got to turn that thing off.
Hey, Dwight Bailey. Okay, that's not your song. All right, dude. If you would have written that,
I didn't write that.
if you would have written that, you wouldn't have
I'd
any
be dead. But the
All right.
point being is that so I know you could probably got to go,
I got.
and I appreciate you coming on. But
I have a studio I need to get back to.
there you go. Get back to it. Create some music. I want to hear some more music from you too, because your music rocks. That's one of the things I love about your channel is some of the music I hear in there is like I like that kind of music. Anyway, but we'll say goodbye to you.
That's what I do. I make music for my shows. The intro you hear, the outro, that's all me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So do some more. I look forward to you coming in here and doing some more in here too. That'd be fun. That's part of the reason why, like I said, all this gear is so that I have different kinds of gear that different kinds of people can play. And the ultimate goal too, of course, is not to be in this apartment with this small room. The ultimate goal is to have a much bigger room where, we could have separate walls and have like a real studio setup, right? Where I could actually do recording of not just me, but other friends and do some stuff like that. Because ultimately what I was getting to is back then, what I realized I wanted to be was a studio producer. I wanted to have my own studio and produce music, whether it was mine or with others or other people's music.
You're a producer?
That's what I've always Flying Pickle Productions, bro. That's what I've wanted to be. That's what I've always wanted to be.
Listen to this.
That's what I've always
Next
wanted
time
to be.
I'm at your house or your studio, whatever that is, I want you to produce me.
Okay.
Produce me making music. And we're going to do it live. People are going to get to see your producing skills.
All right.
And how you're using all the gear in your room to produce
Might take time.
an artist, which will be me, in your studio.
All right. Let's do that. Let's do that. And let's do it this way. Let's honestly set this up. All right.
Also, do you have the producer buys the food.
Do you have any new music? Do you want to produce some new music, or do you want to like do something that you already have that you just want to put down?
I have everything.
So in other words, you already have the song in your head. You already have one song. You're going to work on this one song
to get the best performance out of the artist.
Yes. Yeah. So when we're going to have to do this when I get back from Peru, because between now and then, this is not going to happen. I can guarantee you
When's that?
I'm leaving in 2 weeks. So I'll be back from Peru on the 29th, and we've got New Year's and all that stuff happening. So it's going to be, let's start off the new year resolution. Okay. Johnny Bean 2025. Johnny Bean. Is it 2 N's? Yeah, Johnny Bean.
JHONIEY.
IEY? No, it's not. Johnny. No, it's not. It's NNY. Anyway, Johnny Bean. Johnny Bean production studio production of a song. Okay, let's call it production of a song. We're gonna do one song. I'm gonna produce you.
Okay. and I'm going to put your production skills to the test, where
We
I'm going
will.
to come in, I'm going to show you some ideas, and you're going to
There you go.
arrange the song.
All right,
That's what a
we'll do
producer
that.
does.
That's what we're gonna
And
do.
you're gonna run the board. So
Yep.
you need to get your studio running too.
I know. So this
All
might not
that
happen
gear
until
that you
like
have in there that you say
mid-January,
you're going to use,
right before
I'm going to make
NAM.
you use it.
So this is what happens. But
Okay.
we're gonna do this, and I'm gonna put this in beginning of first of the year. Okay.
Is everybody in the chat hearing this?
Yeah. All right. So this is, I just wrote it in my little notebook here. Because when you write things down, they become more real, right? Resolution 2025, Johnny Bean, production of a song, first of the year. Here we go. So we're gonna make that happen.
And this will be a song.
And this will be a goal. See, this is all about goals, Johnny, right? This is how we break the acquisition
Right? Does
syndrome
this make
problem.
sense?
It totally makes sense. This
Does
is
this
why I
make
wanted to
sense?
do this show. I wanted to talk exactly about this kind of thing. How do you break out of the acquisition
But
syndrome
see,
problem?
it's not all just about talk,
Yeah.
Laz. It's about doing.
You're right. Let's do it, Johnny. Let's do it.
Do it.
We're gonna do it.
Do it.
All right. I'm very happy. I'm excited. I'm motivated. I'm inspired. It's what I love about Johnny. Look at how far he's come. Look at that place. Look at that studio.
See, even Holly says she doesn't believe you.
Yeah. I will not be holding my. That's all right, Holly. You know, ye of little faith. That's all right. You can disbelieve all you want, but that's all right. That motivates me too, because I'm going to prove you wrong. But yeah, Johnny, this is what I wanted to talk about today for the specific reason that we're all.
Is it?
You know, yeah,
I
about
just came in here. I don't even know what you're talking about.
this. It's about gear
You were just
acquisition
talking.
syndrome. Yeah, about gear acquisition syndrome. All right, goodbye. Have a good one. Stay if you want, but I want to get back to the topic. That was something else we were talking about earlier. But yeah, but gear acquisition syndrome can be a problem, as you can all see, right? But it is something that we do for fun. And I've been enjoying
disease, man. It's a disease,
it
but it's a
can be.
disease of collecting stuff that you're not using.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
the problem. That's why I jumped in here.
Mhm.
Right?
Thank you for jumping in.
If you're
John.
actually using the stuff, you would realize you didn't need this and that.
That is part of
You
it.
would have what
And-
you had, what you
and-
have. You could actually make a record on your phone. You don't even
No, you can't make
need-
a record on
Yes,
your
you
phone.
can.
I mean, you can't make a
Yes, you
serious
can.
record on your phone, Johnny.
Yep.
Okay, you can put together like a demo of sorts, maybe, on your phone.
We're going to produce.
All right, I want you to
We're gonna
produce. I'm going to
produce-
challenge you. Then you produce a record on a phone.
I'll do it.
See, okay, I'll see. Let's
I'll
see
do
you
it.
do it. All right, I want to see you do it.
We'll
All
do
right,
that.
this is awesome. I love this. All right. So back to the topic. Back to the topic of gear acquisition syndrome. So part of why I wanted to bring this subject up is because this is, you know, the weekend or the week or the coming weeks, the last couple weeks too. People are buying a lot of gear,
Black
a lot
Friday,
of stuff they
Cyber
don't
Monday.
need. Yeah. And one of the things I stayed away from is buying any gear. So I actually was able to succeed at not buying any more gear.
Okay,
that I
let me ask you
need.
this, and then I got to go.
I bought this one piece of gear that I needed, or I felt I needed anyway.
Oh, you didn't
That's
need
it.
that. You
That's
didn't
it.
need that.
That's it.
You didn't need that. You still don't need that.
I'm sending this. That's why I said it's kind of.
And he
I'm
doesn't
sending
need
this
that.
to run. Well,
See, that's the disease.
yeah.
That's the
yeah.
disease. Neither of you guys need that pedal.
Mm. Well,
And
Johnny,
you know I'm right.
You're right in a way. There's a need
No,
and
I'm
want. and
100%
this, you know,
right. You don't need that.
Okay. All right. Look, you need it if you want to
You want
have
it.
that sound. You
What sound?
want it. That
What
sound?
sound?
That Randy Rhoads sound. If you want to have that sound, if you want to have that pedal, in like it's a collecting thing too, right? There's
Are you going to be writing songs in the style of Randy Rhoads to use that sound?
I might use.
What do you mean,
that
might?
kind of a site? I might. Who knows? If I'm inspired to do something that's a Randy Rhoads kind of inspired kind of thing. Yeah. You never know. You know, because it doesn't have to be exactly Randy Rhoads, but it can be an inspired by. Just like a lot of people are inspired by. Ed
Okay,
Van
here's
Halen or
my
anyone
challenge
else.
to you.
All right,
You're
challenge
going
me.
to produce a song intro for your
Let's do
your
that.
shows.
All right, and I'll
And
have
you're gonna
that
do
put
it
together.
in the style of Randy Rhoads, and
All
you're
right.
going to use that pedal.
All right, let's do that. All right, and then second challenge by Johnny.
Yeah, and the Distortion Plus, it's not just a Randy Rhoads pedal.
No, it's not.
That was the distortion that everybody had back in the day when it was the newest and the latest thing.
Mm-hmm. But the way he used it really did make his sound in style of Randy Rhoads. All right. And not just Randy Rhoads, but who's our other friend? Bob Daisley, right? Because Bob Daisley wrote a lot of that music with Randy. It was really interesting that just today or yesterday, I think Henning Pauly from HP42 Studios said that was Ozzy a fake, or is Ozzy a fake? Like, was all his music, was that even Ozzy at all?
Read Eddie Faye's, highlight Eddie Faye's comment at 11:01. Read that.
There you go. Yeah.
Read that.
The gear becomes the excuse for not producing results.
That's the comment for the show.
It does become
that. Yeah. That is my point right there.
That I should put that in the description. Go. All right, see you later. Thanks, Johnny. I appreciate you. And this is why I wanted to talk about this, you guys, because what Johnny is saying is absolutely true. And Ryan is saying it's true too. I am a musician, a collector, and I have a small studio, and I built it years ago. Yeah. But have I produced any music with it? Wasn't that the ultimate goal in 2017 when I started my channel? Didn't I want to do music? Why am I not doing music? I'm spending a lot of time doing this. When I have my free time, I've become a YouTuber, I guess, but I'm not. Can I call myself a YouTuber when I'm not even making money at it? Isn't that like, what is a YouTuber? Is a YouTuber that guy, singing Chocolate Rain or doing his, Star Wars saber dance or whatever you want to call it? What am I doing here? What's the point of it all, right? What's the point of life, right? And I wanted to challenge myself. This is not an easy subject to, to open yourself up to the world of the internet and all the negativity that can come at you. But negativity can be creative, right? I guess criticism, if you want to call it, maybe not negativity, but criticism. And Johnny Bean's criticism is valid, and I appreciate him for not pulling punches. Yeah, those videos were out before those, yeah, right? I appreciate Johnny for being honest and not pulling his punches and challenging me to do something real and not just talk about it, because talk is cheap, right? Action is louder than words. So that's the not resolution for 2025 that I have. That's like, I guess, not just a goal, but an aspiration in life is to really do what we're here, not allow this to be a distraction, like what Eddie Faye was saying, right? Same as it ever was. This is not my beautiful house. Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. What are you saying here? Black JB, you have a full-time job and no time. Well, there is that too, but at the same time, I've really been enjoying, and I will continue to do this, guys. Don't, I'm not going to be one of those YouTubers that say, "Oh, I'm quitting YouTube because I can't find any more time for it." I got to find a way to do it all. Like my wife always says about me, "You want to do it all, Laszlo. You can't do it all. You want to do it all." I do want to do it all. That's kind of the sadness of it all, is that there isn't enough time in this life to do everything I want to do. But like Steve Vai says, and he meditates on this a lot, and he talks a lot about this in his when he does his episodes of Aliens, whatever it's called. He talks about, okay, I've got like 1,000 things on my list of things I want to do this year, or in life. He's got his list. And like the Hydra was one of them that he made come to fruition. The G3 tour and other things, or other, things, his beekeeping and all. He has all this. Yeah. Laz, it's time or money. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's one or the other, and it is difficult in today's life. I go, what do you want? We have first world problems here in America for the most part, right? None of us are starving to death, really. There's people that do have trouble making enough money to make ends meet, but it's not like we're in the Stone Age days where survival. You're not going to survive in America. You can find a way to get by. And I've managed, but the thing is that for me, I think if I'm really going to be happy if I'm truly going to be happy, and I don't think there's a truly like happiness is something you achieve. It's a journey that you're on, right? And it's not just about happiness. It's like, okay, I would be happy to complete this one goal. That completing a goal of like doing this thing with Johnny, that would make me happy to actually be able to come through, follow through with that and complete that goal, right? Um, Going to these events like I've gone to were always part of my goal as someone interested in the YouTube thing. I've managed to go to Guitar Summit. I managed to go to Henning Pauli's Gear Street. I've managed to go to NAM every year pretty much since I started in 2019. I've managed, even if I had to crash NAM in 2020, I managed to do and have some amazing memories and wonderful times being part of this community, right? For me, it's a very social thing. It's not just about creating music for the sense of being a musician and I want to be a pro and I want to be a musician making music and blah, blah, blah. You can be one of those guys and be starving and not have fun and be miserable because nobody cares. There's that side of it that sometimes you can make the most amazing music you think you could ever have made. And I've heard some amazing music out there that nobody cares about, right? Nobody else is buying their albums. Nobody else is out there watching them live. They could be local musicians or whatever. People think you're an amazing genius and nobody knows and nobody cares. So it has to make sense for you. I guess I'll bring it full circle here. Take a sip. Let me put my psychologist hat on and try to bring this into kind of sense and full circle here. Is that you have to make it sense to you, but you should also be introspective. You should be self-aware enough of your situation. Is like if gear acquisition syndrome is really a problem, like it's getting in your way from using your money on things that you need to use it on, then that's a problem. There's an actual psychological term for this. It's what is it called? Retail, something like that, syndrome. It's some kind of a syndrome, a real syndrome, that has to do with just purchasing all the time, like hoarders, buying stuff. And some of us, you could probably consider some of this hoarding in a sense, right? I don't usually get rid of gear. The only piece of gear I've gotten rid of, I think, I loaned some guitars and I gave some guitars away as gifts, and I've done some things like that for family members. And I'm loaning this out to because I really don't need it, but I want it. Johnny's right. That's why I'm able to let it go for a little while and let Ron have his fun with it. But it is a social thing, right? Yeah. Target, aim, and then let it fly. Trust in your team and let it unfold, right? And create your team, right? Holly's saying, you've done a lot of those things, Laz. You are social. Creating in a studio is very isolating, kind of, if you are doing it by... Well, that's the thing about, being a musician, too. And I recall, as a youngster, the part of being, in that room, practicing my scales and piano and all that. It was very isolating, and that was one of the reasons why I broke away from that kind of learning. Maybe that's part of the reason why I didn't do the lessons that the teacher gave me, because I had two brothers and a sister, and they always wanted to play, and our friends, we always wanted to go play and do stuff. And I wasn't like Eddie Van Halen, stuck in my room just playing my guitar all day and night. I could never be that guy. But let's say early in the morning when my wife's still sleeping, or late at night when she's sleeping or whatever, that's why I've soundproofed this room, so I can be in here playing. I can play the piano, I can play guitar with headphones on, and she wouldn't even hear me, right? And so there's that. There's ways to find time. The other thing I wanted to get back to is Sean Pierce Johnson, as PJ. He did inspire me with his reason. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find the time to take his class, which is part of why he's calling it a boot camp. Let's slow down in the talking speed, right? Maybe the boot camp that Sean Pierce Johnson is launching, starting in January, is exactly geared for a guy like me. 10-15 minutes a day, and then we'll get you to a place that you'll be happy with as a guitarist or as a musician, using guitar as an instrument to create music, right? And I might do it. I might just force myself to do it and make him proud and make myself proud and make you all proud, right? You've had a boot camp before. Yeah, right. Yeah, you never really get rid of gear. Once it gets here, it really just stays. 50 years of gear. It's not nuts though, man. I think there's something. I'm starting to feel like it's a little nuts. Okay, Hobo Roddy says he is a steward. Recently gave a half dozen pedals to a collector. Total relief not to have them. See, got to be the right guy though. And dude, that's one of the things I love about what you do, because you are not giving gas. You're actually relieving gas by giving some people and like what you've done for me, like with some of this gear here. And you've told me, sell it if you want, lads. Do whatever you want with it, right? You have given me a taste of tone, right? Tone. You've given me a glimpse into what what a lot of people are chasing after that they never have a chance to experience, right? All right, what is Michael B saying here? Future guest on the show, by the way. We're going to put that together at some point, but maybe next year. Yeah, when I get gear, we love watching value achieved and appreciated. Yeah, because I love gear. I love good equipment. I love, I know what a good guitar is. I know what good gear sounds like. I've had a studio. I'm not trying to say like I'm some kind of super duper record producer. The recordings that we produced back in the 90s, in the mid 90s to the late 90s, was only a couple 3 years time, and I was a total newbie to any of that. And at that time we were running everything. It wasn't on a DAW, even though Cakewalk Pro at that time was it was a sequencer that kind of operated like a DAW in a way, but not quite. And so there's a lot of things about the new gear that I don't know how it functions, how it works. I'm gonna find out as I'm working with it. It's gonna take some time. I think Johnny knows. That's why he's challenging me that the train wreck. He's expecting the train wreck to happen. Is that I don't really know what I'm talking about because I haven't used this gear, right? I haven't used it, so I'm familiar with what most of it's supposed to do in a recording, situation, in a situation like that. But I wasn't the only guy working in that studio at that time. We had a 32 channel Mackie board, and I knew how to use pretty much everything and create music with it. But I didn't produce a gold record or any kind of a major record of any kind. Some of the recordings we made for people and of other people. I had some hands-on experience with it, but I didn't do all of it. So I'm not like saying I'm like some super producer or something, but I do know, I believe I do know what good music sounds like, and I have a keen ear for what things should sound like, how they'll sound. When it comes to Johnny and producing a song of his, the most important thing I'm going to ask him is, what let's hear this song of yours, and let's see where we can take this. Let's see if we can inspire you to complete whatever this song is that you've got in your head. How do we make it happen? What kind of gear are you going to need, when you come in here? What do you want it to sound like? And that's part of the reason why I have a lot of the gear I have, and hopefully, and the plan is not hopefully, but I will set it all up so that we can use it, so that he can have whatever sound he wants in here, best I could possibly do, right? But if I'm just a sound engineer, then everyone brings their stuff, and I'm just putting it on tape. So there's different levels of when you call a producer. Nowadays, the online, the DAW world, the digital world, you're expected to be able to do it all. That's a pretty big call, right? To do it all. But a lot of musicians are doing that on YouTube. They're creating every aspect of their music, and then even creating the merch to go with it too. They're creating everything. Like, you have to do it all, and that's a lot. Sometimes if you're a creator, you're just the artist. Johnny just wants to come in here and play, and then you just make magic out of what he's playing. So we'll see if we can make that happen. But I'm in no fantasy land of that something great's going to happen in a one day, one time, several hours get together, right? Yeah. So if you're just doing music, right, it's tough. Yeah, you still have all those ADATs and everything, right? You know that. Remember that Session 8 is what we used back then. You remember that one? That was the first really good, 8-channel digital software you can use to run everything into ADATs with off a board. Yeah, 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 and that's the thing. And maybe no magic will happen with Johnny. Maybe it's not possible. But we're gonna try because I love the stuff that he creates, and let's see if we can put something together, right? Yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's okay. I mean, Martin, you've got a lot of the gear you want, don't you? But, I think part of maybe we should end on this. I think part of why we should think seriously about how we're using our time and our money and realize our goals, when it comes to what we want in life, which is, again, another not so easy thing is have those goals in mind before you make your purchases. I mean, there were a number of things that I was eyeing that I'm like, oh, I'd love to have that, or I'd love to have this, or I'd love to have that. Whoa, what a deal this is for Black Friday, blah blah blah. There were a lot of things out there that I could have bought, but I didn't buy. And Phil McKnight said something on his show. I think it was on the Friday show. He was saying, don't just buy gear that's out there because it's got a good deal or it's on sale. You know, don't do that. You'll waste your money because you're gonna end up like Lewis. Tone King Lewis was talking about that, or was it Steve from Boston? They had a show on Friday as well. They were talking about um, the talk box that he bought. I think Lewis bought it, or Steve bought the talk box. I think it was Lewis. He bought the talk box from MXR, right? The one with the two, that one. He bought that, and let me turn this. How do I get that thing to go away? There we go. He bought that years ago and then sold it, and then bought another one, and he still hasn't opened the box, and he doesn't want to sell it because he's like, but then I'll go through the same thing of wanting to buy it again, and I don't want to have to go through that again. And now they're on sale for like $159, right? Which is a great deal if you want one of those things. But he just has it. He hasn't used it, and he's like, "Why do I have this?" And why? It's like this thing in your brain that gear acquisition syndrome thing that I gotta have that thing. Yeah. Phil McKnight again, dude. I love Phil McKnight. Yeah. Yeah, I love Ryan's music too. He's got so much soul, man. That guy can sing. Ryan Hall, you guys go check out his channel. So are you going to have drums and bass with this song? Who will program the drums? Who will play the bass? Good question. So I can play bass, so I can play the bass. We can use some, Superior Drummer. I have a lot of those softwares. So, or I can create a drum track or just a click beat or something. If we're going to actually create an entire song in a day, it can be done. Depends on how good you want the song to be, kind of thing. But it's totally possible. I've got, a keyboard here that's got pads that I can do the drum, hits and create loops with. I've got the pedal, the trio pedal, that it's also a band in the box kind of thing that, we could try that and see if that works. But we just talked about producing a song. We didn't say how good it's going to be, right? And I'm sure Johnny, having worked with one of the best producers of all time, has high expectations. So, he's probably going to give me a hard time throughout the entire thing. But part of being producer, I think a producer, like what he was saying, was very true. I ran into some trouble with this with a friend of mine who didn't really appreciate how things were set up here in the studio room when she came, first time ever recording her voice and trying to do something musical. She didn't even practice the song. She didn't know how to sing it on her own. She'd always sang it with the other singer in the background. And so that was a failure right from the get-go. Hey, Ian's Guitar Shack, but she kind of threw the thing at me like, hey, your studio was not really that inviting of a place. And I'm like, well, it's a studio in a bedroom. I mean, what is your expectation? I mean, there's only so much I could do in a room this size. And I actually tried to make it look comfortable and nice, but there was something true about what she said, was you've got to make it as an inviting space so that when the person is going to be coming in there to play or sing or do whatever they're going to do, they have the tools at their disposal that they'll need. Like Johnny's saying, when you're recording, it's got to be like that. You know, you got to have all the tools and everything ready to go. So when he wants to make a sound, he's inspired in the studio, he can be inspired. Most people aren't inspired in a studio environment. All right. It's tough to be in a studio environment and play at your best or inspired. You've got to put yourself in that place. And then the environment can make a big difference, you know. That's why a lot of people do drugs when they're musicians, because they gotta get out of their head. They gotta get out of the room. They gotta be in that place, you know, that zone or whatever you want to call it, that Zen-like place, so that they can just let it flow through them again. Getting back to that, right? So, you know, that's not an easy thing to do, but we'll try to make it happen here. And I appreciate his challenging me, and yeah, and SPJ for inspiring me, and all you guys out there inspiring me too. So, oh, here's a question. We'll end on this. So, question: who remembers first DAW from back in the day, Pro Tools or Cakewalk? For me, it was Cakewalk Pro. Cakewalk Pro as a sequencer before it was even a DAW, which was kind of the first DAW. And now you can get Cakewalk Pro for free, which if you want a free, powerful DAW, get that. Just download it. It's great. It works great. Yeah. And yeah, Holly, you know, okay, would you say that Edward Van Halen was a professional? I would say he was. Can you perform anywhere? That guy had to get sometimes sloppy drunk to feel good in front of a crowd. All right. So it's not as easy as all that. It's not so black and white. It's not like, oh, you're a pro and you can do anything anywhere. I've had to perform at friends' weddings, funerals, other occasions, and I've had to be on. And I was mostly straight, you know, at those times. I might have had a beer or something because it's a wedding or something, but you know, when you play out like I've played out recently, what's been great is I really wanted to get out playing more. So that's why I joined up with these guys doing that Memorex thing, where we're playing for, you know, singers and songwriters and young people, and mostly it's covers. Some of them might be working on some original stuff, but so far it's been mostly covers, doing stuff in front of a crowd in a bar or whatever, right? And I've been backing them up with keyboards and guitar, and you know, you've got to be on. You've got to be playing the right notes. You can't be off, you know. So as a professional, when you want to call yourself professional, whether you're getting paid or not, act like it. Be the ball. Be Caddyshack, coming back, Caddyshack terminology here of a movie that was about golf, but really it's just a comedy about life. But be the ball, right? Just be the ball. Be the musician, you know, be the pro. Step up. Don't be afraid. And a lot of times, if you make a really bad mistake, people might hear it, but just keep playing. And if you get right back to playing right, you know, you can't walk out in the middle of a song like one of my sister's friends did at one of those events because he didn't remember what he was supposed to play and walked off. And I'm like, oh my God, you can't do that. But he did. Anyway, oh, she said it wasn't. Yeah, you know, but at the same time, I was doing something free for someone that took me hours to set up and a whole day of mine, you know, for a friend, and I'll never do that again either, because it's got to be something that if they want it bad enough, then they got to take part in making it happen. You know, maybe she could have come over early and helped me set things up or something. I don't know. She's paying me to be a professional studio. That's a different story, right? But if you're not being paid for it and you're not even prepared when you come in to record your voice to do it, then that's a different thing too. You know, I even had to learn the song on the guitar so I could back her up playing the acoustic, which I did. You know, and so that takes time. As you know, the music industry is a tough industry because you've got to be at a pretty high level already to pull off something that sounds decent, let alone good, or, you know, something memorable. Something memorable was like a week ago when I went to the old folks home with my friend Heather and her sister to visit her mom. And I played music on a piano there for them and my classical acoustic guitar. And I made them cry with one of my songs that I wrote. They cried. They're like, "Oh my God," And I was playing songs that I knew the old lady would appreciate, like some things that would bring back memories for them. And so when you have that kind of response to your music and what you're playing, you've done your job. And that's a pro's kind of, that's what makes you feel you know accomplished. You've accomplished something that you wanted to accomplish. I did something good when I did those gigs backing up those people, even though I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for a lot of those songs and I didn't have the exact perfect synth sound and stuff. I got it close enough to where they knew what that was and it sounded great, and everyone, I got the biggest cheer that night when they announced the band members, because that, I mean, I'm not bragging, I'm just saying that's what happened, and I felt good about that because I'm like, yeah, I made this happen. This is what I wanted to accomplish here today. I wanted to back these people up and make them feel good, and it made the songs sound right. All these 80s songs and 90s songs with the keyboards in the background. They're like, yeah, that's the song. Without that keyboard part, it wouldn't be the song. So how do uh yeah. Yeah, Eddie Faye. Well, yeah. That's the thing, right? Yeah. What does that have to do with the music industry, right? Yeah, so you did an entire movie score on Cakewalk in 2003. It was a challenge with computer performance back then, but fun, right? Yeah. Yeah, everyone's going to make mistakes, right? And to me, you can't learn to run until you learn to walk. So, but just like riding a bike, once you've done it enough, you can get to higher levels, and then you can be like, off-road, mountain biker that can jump over trees and stuff, or you can just be somebody who can ride down the street carefully enough to where you don't get run over. And it depends on, like Johnny was saying, like what kind of musician do you want to be, or are you? I don't think any of that stuff should hold you back. So those questions, what am I going to be, or who am I, shouldn't hold you back from going after whatever it is. So that's kind of what's been this journey of mine is, you know, I'm trying to get to a place to do something that I want to do, and getting the gear is part of it. But do I need all this stuff here to create music? No, I could just use this. I could do it all with that right there. It's an interface. It's got all the sounds. It's pretty damn good. Could probably do it all with this on guitar, with one guitar, just my Strat right there. Probably do it all with that one, or maybe my 60th anniversary Strat, because it's a single hum guitar. Could probably do it all with that, because get me all the songs I want, and software on my computer for everything else, the synths, the bass, the drums, and all. Right? I could do it with like minimal gear, and it might be a good thing because he'll, right, exactly, right, prove it, says Eddie, exactly. So, and then here's the other thing too, is that I have been wanting to purge and sell some gear, but then that takes time too. So all these things take time out of your day and out of your life. This show right now, I've been going an hour and a half, taking time out of my day, out of my life, right? No, it's not fear at all, Holly. It's interesting that people say that. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. My wife often says to me, "Why do you talk so much, Laz? You're always talking so much." What is it? I like to tell stories. I'm a storyteller. Phil McKnight also put it that way. It's like I can't stop talking because I think I have things I want to say, and I think they're important. At least I think so, and I just want to tell these stories and talk. So what Johnny says about talk, that's what he's doing too. He's talking on his shows. He's creating some music once in a while, but he's mostly talking too, right? He does play the guitar, but let's hear something new, let's hear something novel, right? And let's do it. So like, I love that you guys are challenging me, and let's challenge each other, right, to realize the dreams we have. If your dream is to have a studio or a room full of gear like this, I'm not going to lie, I think this is great. I wouldn't have it if I didn't think it was great, right? I love it. I think it's awesome, to have all this. Like, wow, look at all this gear I have. But is it awesome that I don't have time to play it? No, that's not awesome. So we've got to adjust, right? You gotta make some some hard decisions and adjust some of your what would you call it? I guess goals. You know, do you have a goal with this? And then stick to it. And that's what SBJ kind of woke up in me. So thank you, Sean Pierce Johnson. Let me put your name in here, Sean Pierce Johnson. Check that guy out, you guys. If you don't know Sean Pierce Johnson, he's a great guy. Oops, I'm misspelling his name. I'm really bad with these kinds of keyboards. I'm used to the ones that are like big keys. Okay, Sean Pierce Johnson. Check out that guy's channel. He's got I think it's SeanPierceJohnson.com. But he's going to be doing this bootcamp guitar thing. I'm trying to talk myself into doing it. And I know, Holly, I don't take anything you say negatively, just so you know. No, see, that's the thing. That's part of the reason why I haven't monetized this channel either. See, you're trying to define me. It's not about that, Holly. So I've always loved gear. Even when before I had my studio, I've always lusted after the best gear. I've always wanted to have the best thing I could get with the money I had, because I know for a fact it matters. Okay, I know what Johnny says. Oh, you can play any guitar, blah 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 blah. Yeah, hand a kid a crappy guitar and they're gonna have a harder time learning it. You give them a good guitar that's playable and they can learn on. That matters. Having good gear, like all these kids who grow up with Spider, Line 6 Spider amps. Sorry, man, but that wrecked your ears for good tone, because you think that sounds good. Like what Hoborodi's saying, plug into that, and that's gonna sound amazing. And then all of a sudden, it's gonna inspire in a way that Line 6 cannot. What the Line 6 did do, though, is give you a cheaper alternative to similar simulations of tones, so that you can kind of have it without spending too much money. Yeah, and it's a therapy too. Yeah, right. I know you are too. Yeah. What feeling does it evoke? It's not about a feeling. It's about having something that works. So here's the difference. You ever play piano, Holly? You ever play a good piano and versus like a Steinway? Okay, I was playing my sister-in-law's piano that I refinished at the house during the holidays, during Thanksgiving, and holy crap, was it hard to play on that thing, because it just dynamically, like, okay, this is not a real piano, but it has really nice feeling, action. So I couldn't play that piano like this, because that one, the way the hammers hammered, and one is a real acoustic piano, it was really hard to touch it, push it down where you can do really gentle dynamics like that versus. So when you're doing staccato stuff like this, it didn't allow me to have the dynamic control, and it didn't feel good to play. And so I struggled with it, just like, some people who are shredders will struggle playing, let's say, like, I don't know, something with high action is a good way to explain it. If you have a guitar with really high action, you can't play it like, if the neck is fat, you can't shred on it like a shredder can. So depending on the style of music that you're playing, you got to have an instrument that fits that style. That's why I have a lot of different guitars in here, because I feel if I want to play a different style, the guitar actually it evokes a specific kind of feel or style, just like an amp or a type of effect and stuff. It'll evoke a different kind of feeling and a different kind of it'll inspire you in a different kind of way, right? Yeah, the different tones. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, and then there you go. But then you can use a guitar on a high action. A guitar slide on a high action guitar. But you can't shred on it. But you can like, what's his name does. Oh, slipping my mind. The guy from the guy who can shred. Anyway, I can't think of his name. Can't even describe him right now. But Yeah, yeah. But the difference between like what Johnny's saying and what I'm saying about like gear, Johnny has already gotten to a level of expertise on a guitar to his level to because I'm sure there's certain things he can't play too, right? But he's happy with his skill level at where he's at, I would think. Or is he not? Does he want to, he started learning to play piano for a reason because he wants to be able to put together music by, playing the piano himself or come up with his own ideas, right? So that's the thing. There's what's beautiful about music and the gear side of it too is that you can never get bored with it. And if you love music, you'll always find something new to, inspire you. Um, I think it would be sad if you can't find inspiration either by playing with others that will influence you into a different style of playing, or gear that can influence you. And most musicians, they're not happy with just their sound being just one way because you get bored of the same thing over and over again, right? Yeah, it's a journey. So I wouldn't even call it a process, Holly. I get what you're saying there. It's not just a process. It's a journey because music is not just cerebral. It's emotional. It evokes feeling and emotion. So it's not just a process, and these things aren't just tools. They're pieces of art that we get to collaborate with, like we connect with. Like when you connect with your guitar, it's I have girls' names for most of my guitars because you know I'm heterosexual, and to me, it's almost like a sexual experience, like Eddie Van Halen would say. It's not exactly, but you get emotionally connected and into, and that's why I don't like to sell my gear, get rid of my gear, because to me, I get connected to it, and that's part of the creation process for me. So yeah. And you can always be inspired with the gear you've got. Sometimes you just need to sit down and meditate with it or just start playing it. That's why my favorite guitar is my classical, because it's in the living room and I pass by it and I pick it up and I play it the most because it's easy. I pick it up and play and there it is and it sounds great, you know? So I think we'll end there, you guys. A good hour and a half of chatting and talking about music. And you're referring to the creative process. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it does take time. It takes time and it does take work and dedication. And you do have to have discipline. Hence why I think the SPJ is challenging, others like me. Um, it's going to be a boot camp. He's going to kick some butt, he's not going to let you slide. So if you're going to join that thing, you better be ready to take some pain, right? Major pain. There was some funny comments in that live stream. Yeah. Oh, well, we could end on the Eckhart Tolle thing here. There we go. I love Eckhart. I've got 2 of his books and read them. The second one I read twice, the New Earth one. Great. Tougher, but great book. So he said not to force yourself to get rid of things, that when it's time, you will let it go. And that's true of anything, letting go is a good thing. Free, free, set them free. Right? That song by Sting is all about that. If you love something, if you love somebody, set it free. So where can we see and measure your progress? I don't know. Watch the show. Continue watching the show. Continue seeing me progress with the build of the studio. Between now and Christmas, of course, I'm going to do the 12 days of Christmas, starting with today. Should we start this today, you guys? Let's end this show with a giveaway. All right, we're going to do the 12 days of Christmas, day 1 right now. Let me go into the StreamYard giveaway tool. I'm going to give away another one of these really cool guitar hangers. All right. Let me grab another one. The other one's already in the box. I got a whole box of these. I got more than just this one box of these. So let me go ahead and choose the live stream here and post it up. Here we go. Anyone who's entered anything, okay, just you know what? Put gas like this into the where is it? Present into the chat, and you will be entered if you want to win one of these. If you don't want to win one of these, but you still want to enter. Oh, there's one already. Okay, let me go ahead and I'm going to zoom in on it so you guys can see the entries there. Put the word gas into the chat, and I'll try to display to you guys the progress here. Yeah, watch from the beginning. Yeah, so everyone put gas or gas with a question mark or beans, magic beans. This has to be, it has to be about gas. Cabbage says Mark's gas station. He already has gas. He doesn't need more. Hobarodi doesn't need one. He's got petrol. Patrolling the border. That's funny. Gee, yeah. If you win, I'll send it to you with the pedal that I'm sending you, dude, for your Christmas and otherwise thank you gift. But yeah, gas, right? Let's see, how does it look better like that? Or does it look better like this? Anyway, I think that's better, right? Well, maybe just for this purpose right here, let's do this. All right. So this is what I'm going to send you if you win. It's not the Enterprise new version. Looks like that, right? It's actually a wall hanger. You screw this part onto the wall, right? And then you hang your guitar on here, on this part right here, right? Like there. And once your guitar goes in, it locks it in like that. See? Locks it in like that, right? Very cool. Ultimate support. If you guys know keyboard stuff and other like pro gear for, you know, going out on the road doing stuff, right? Playing out. Ultimate support makes all kinds of stands and gear. Ultimate support. So these things aren't cheap. They're normally like around 20 something bucks, but I bought a bunch of them when they went on sale at Guitar Center. I said, what? Look at this. Sometimes I peruse the gear page there to see, you know, from the cheapest thing they have, and I work my way up and see if there's anything like good strings on sale or stuff like this cheap on sale. So I have a box of these, but I have several more. So I'm going to be giving away those. And then along with that, I'll probably give away like some picks like I always do, and maybe some stickers, you know, like the Jams music sticker where I bought the Distortion Plus, or a Zims sticker, right? Something like that. So let's see, where are we at? How many do we have so far that put gas? Only 7? All right, it's going to be a really easy win for somebody here. Where's Peggy? Peggy for the win. Peggy, where are you at? All right, so Boomster Black wants to win. It is nice. And what's cool, you know what's cool about this is, let's say you have a space on the wall and you don't have your guitar on the wall, but you don't want this thing sticking out the whole time, right? You fold it up. That's kind of cool too, right? Yeah, I thought it was cool. It's nice. I dig it. I think it's pretty cool. So it has that ultimate support, kind of like a, you know, it locks it in. Once you got weight on it, it locks in there, so it can't just fall out, right? So there you go. Very cool. All right. You need a hanger. Everyone needs a hanger. It's cool, right? I'm not going to put that up, Holly. You can do what? Oh my God. Boomster Black says it's cool. All right. You guys ready? Let's do the spin. Are you guys ready? 10 seconds. Countdown to 10 seconds. Is there a 10-second timer here somewhere? I know there is. No, this thing has that song that I could probably get. It'll end up being a problem. All right, here, we'll do this timer again. It's just 8 seconds. All right, we got it going. There we go. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Who's it going to be? Oh my God, it is you, Martin. Congratulations. That's so awesome, dude. I think you're going to like this. Maybe I should send you and Lucas like a few of these. What do you think? I think I will. I think I'm going to pull myself back a little bit here. Go back to this, this view right here. How do you make it smaller? What happened? Hold on. No, not that. Not that. Where'd it go? There you go. Great. Well, I don't know what's. Oh, I know what's going on because I had it I had it like so. I had it so zoomed. There you go. Winner. Give it to Ryan Hall. All right. You don't have any new guitars to hang these on, right? Because you're not allowed. Boomster Black. I was gonna give it to you if your name came up. So just so you all know, this was day 1, December 1st of the 12 days of Christmas. I'm starting it at the beginning of the month because going forward, 12 days from now, right? It's not going to end on Christmas because I got to leave town. So every day I'm going to do a pop-up show at some point in the evening for me, most likely. If I can't do it during the day, I'll try to do some during the day too for the Europeans and elsewhere. Yeah, Lasmus. Yeah, I call myself Santa Laz, and it is Rockmas. So this is the 12 days of Rockmas. 12 days of Rockmas begins today with Santa Laz. Oh, Begoins Begoins. I gotta fix that. Begins today with Santa Laz. That's right. All right, you guys. Thanks for coming. Are you sure, Martin? Don't you think you and Lucas could use a couple of these in his space down there in the dungeon of his, the guitar dungeon? But that's very cool. All right, so let's see. Where did he put that? Shipping is cheaper. Yeah, but dude, I'm sending you a pedal anyway, so I'm already sending you a box. But I'll give it to him if he wants. Oh, you still have the picks, says Boomster Black. That's cool. Yeah. The pot is on strike up here. The pot is on strike. Pot is fine. All right, so let me make sure I gotta highlight that. All right. Martin wins, and Martin says, give it to Ryan Hall. So Ryan, I am going to make a note. Guitar hanger for Ryan Hall, because otherwise I forget things. All right, thanks you guys for joining me today for almost a 2-hour show. I had fun. I think it was great having Johnny on, because Johnny and I, we don't take any of this stuff too how would you say, too the wrong way. When we're like doing this, it's a good thing. I like having a little conflict. I like having a little bit of challenge, and he's challenging me. He's drawing me out. I've got to put up or shut up kind of thing, right? So that's what it's all about. Thanks, Wayne McConnell, for joining. Join in next time in the chat for the G.A.S, and maybe you'll win. And yeah, I think that should be it, right? Bye, everyone, says Guitar Man 45. Thank you both for joining. And Laz can send it with the guitar. Yeah, I will send it with the guitar and more, as I would say, guitar and more. There's a bunch of stuff that I got to look at the list of things I'm supposed to put in that package for Ryan. So, as well as the package for Janice. She's getting a lot of stuff too. All right, a lot of the land of the ice and snow. Yeah, right. All right, right on, you guys. So have a great rest of your, I guess, Cyber Monday weekend or Black Friday weekend or whatever it is. Don't buy gear you don't need, or buy some gear for somebody else so they're going to become musicians, or give away some of the gear that you don't need to somebody else. Make music, right, with your friends. I often used to say at the end of my shows about tone, right? The secret to tone is in your mind, but the feel comes from your heart. Put that together with other friends and gear and make some music, man. Rock on, you guys. See you for day number dose day of 12 days of Rockmas with Santa Laz. Dale Palmer at the end. You guys all rock. See you next time.